Hi guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my November wrap-up part 1. Now I'm filming this on the 13th because technically halfway through the month is... No, I'm filming this on the 14th. Halfway through the month is technically the day this video goes live. So, and it's also the day I work. So I'm not filming on work day, I'm not filming before work, I don't have time. So it seems like I've read less books. I'm kind of happy enough with it. Like, I know that this month I've read less than last month, but also this month I've still got 5 books that I'm currently reading at the moment. So that number will obviously, I should well catch up my number of books that I want to read. So I've got, like I said, I've got 5 books on the go at the moment. I'll tell you what they are in a second. I've read 13 books. I've DNF'd 1 book. So that's like 14 books. Bear in mind I have library books and I've got a borrowed book. Yeah, I can't remember if I'm borrowing a book from my sister or I've got a reread. Yeah, I've got a reread in that number. Anyway, it should be okay. Point of filming this, I've kind of gained like 20 books on the 13th, but I did do my shopping trip with Vicky and they're still all over there. They still haven't been put away. But do you know what? They're making me happy. I'm so cold. I must admit, the books that I've got this month already, I can't wait to show you guys. I really can't on my book haul because I found 2 off my wish list. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. Life as it's going this month, I'd like to do a little bit of a catch up, obviously, on my wrap up part 1 this month. I have acknowledged I've got a bit of depression at the moment. It's nothing to worry about. I've spoken to my sisters and my mum and my best friends, and I'm getting back on track. I feel a lot better this week than I did last week. You know that the chronic pain is hitting me at the moment, and it is a tough sort of time of year because the pain gets worse and it's just setting me up a bit. But I'm okay, I'm getting better. But yeah, my reading is definitely a thing. Like, I've got a video coming up. I've got some videos coming up that I'm really excited about. So I think I've got my video talking about disability in the winter. That's going to be the next video after this. I've counted the books in my library. Have I got more unread than read? I'm not telling you the answers to that. And then I've obviously got gratitude journals, but I'm keeping busy. There's a lot happening in the next few weeks, so my reading time is going to probably go down a bit. I don't think I'll be reading anywhere near as much this month as I did in October, but that's fine. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Anyway, I didn't want this video to be too long, so let me show you what books I'm currently reading. So at the moment I'm rereading North and South. I've got to read like 50 pages of that in a minute when I get off the video. It was a great book to choose to reread because I must admit I'm really enjoying it and I'm reading it at the right pace. I'm reading it like 50 pages a day, and for this and I'm reading it continuing. I'm not having a day off, and I think that's where I'm going to go forward next year with classics, is not having a day off, because if I have a day off I forget, and this is proving a lot better. With dappy like perimenopause of brain, I forget stuff, but this is going really well. I'm loving it. Rereading it, and I'm getting more out of it on the reread than I did the first time, so I'm loving it. My buddy read with Chatty from the Mad Chatter is going really well. This is Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Byron. Oh my god, I'm finishing this at the weekend, and it's fair to say that if this isn't a 5 stars and goes on my favourites for the year, I'll be shocked. It is flipping brilliant. It is scary. It's got a bit of scary times in it, but I am loving it, and I'm loving buddying it with Chatty. It's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to finish this video and read it. So that's that. And then I've got my reading for my Love Book Tours book, The Michaelmas Daisy. I'm applying less for Love Book Tours books and tandem books at the moment, because with my mental health I am struggling to write reviews, which is why not having Goodreads actually now is proving a lot better, because I find it easier to verbalise what I'm feeling about my books than to write it down. So this is my Love Book Tours book, but it is talking about Alzheimer's, and this is the whole point of this book, and it's a book that I'm reading over the course of the month. It is an LPL product. I will review it, but it's amazing, and I'm reading a little bit at a time, and it's really, really good. Actually, I didn't love the author's last work, but I think this is just incredible, and I just want to shout out, and I would tell you definitely for other people to read. Then I started yesterday The Skeleton Key. I only read about 100 pages of it. It is a bit spooky, a bit sort of scary. It's better than I expected. I'm actually enjoying it a bit more than I expected. But yeah, one book, one family divided, one deadly reunion. This is a bit spooky, a bit scary, so I will try and read that. And then last night I started a book that I was going to add to the TBR, but I needed a contemporary, and this is One in a Million by Lindsay Kelk. I know everyone's read Lindsay Kelk. Everyone that reads contemporaries and romances has read Lindsay Kelk. I've not. This is a book I only started last night. Light, fluffy. After that Skeleton Key, I needed this. So let's see how that goes. Those are the books I'm reading. I will think which ones am I reading today. Sorry, I've kind of got to, I have like a little plan. So this one we only read like a bit every other day. So that one there. So before Chris gets home, I have to have it all organised because I have Chris's corner while he's at work. So those two are not going to get back to it till later, so they can go back there. So my DNF for the month was The Suspicions of Mr. Witcher. It is not my kind of book. I think I can see it's got good sort of literary, it possibly did have good literary, but it's about a child being murdered in Victorian times. I can't deal with that. I really am not in any place, and I'm going to keep an eye on my mental health. I may DNF more, by the way, guys, now. I'm learning that I need to look after my mental health. If the book's not right for me, I'm going to DNF. And I did DNF that. So it was my non-fiction book, so not reading anything from the non-fiction November this month. But do you know what? That's fine. I've got to be self-care. My disappointment of the month, it's a 3 stars, but it's a disappointment because it's Kate Morton book, and it is The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. It's really I really am disappointed in this. It's not that her writing's bad, but it was one of my first books of the month. So it's like nearly 700 pages. I probably shouldn't have tried to read a book this size in 1 month. I think that was probably a bit stupid. I probably should have tried to read it over 2 months, and I may have got more out of it. And I also tried to read it all in one go. But it started with a letter. Edie Birchall and her mother have never been close. When a long left letter arrives one Sunday afternoon with a return address of Middlehurst Castle, Kent, printed on its envelope, Edie begins to suspect her mother's emotional distance marks an old secret. Historical fiction, it's okay, but it's not one of her better books. I love The Lake House. She is seeming a bit more hit and miss with me now. So I've got Homecoming by her up on my shelves, which I kind of got gifted, and it does look good, but this was not one of my favourites for her, so it's going back to the charity shop. Another one that I didn't get as much out of it, and that is Ellie, and this was only 3.5 stars, and this was Ellie and the Heartmaker by Hazel Pryor. Now, I don't think it's, I have to be very careful with my wording on this. The lead character, Dan, so we've got Ellie and Dan. Ellie is perfectly happy living a quiet life with her husband Clive, happy to wander the Exmoor countryside and write the occasional poem that no one will read, happy to dream of things she hasn't managed to do, or is she? Meets Dan. He thinks all he needs is time and space and making harps in his isolated barn in Exmoor. He prefers to be on his own, far away from other people, and crucially, far away from the risk of surprises. Now, I don't think it's officially said in this book that Dan is autistic, but from the descriptions, I would believe that is, with my experience, I would believe that's the way it's portrayed. And I don't think Hazel Pryor is known voices. She may be, and if she is, then that's fine. But I don't necessarily think the autism rep is done perfectly with that, and I found myself judging that. And I'm very, very keen on good disability rep. There is also, if you don't want to know, I will tell you the trigger on this because I have to. So if you don't want to know the trigger, please wait until this book goes down. Right, here's the warning. There is domestic violence in this, and there is coercion and abusive relationship, and I didn't like that. I didn't get any clue that it was coming. The coercion happened very early on. You can see that Ellie's relationship with her husband is not kind of right, but I found that very, very hard to read. I didn't enjoy it. I liked The Way with the Penguins, but I don't think this is just for me. So I am definitely not going to go there. So please be careful with that. I don't think this was what I wanted it to be. Now to my 4 stars. Now 4 stars, as we know from my videos, they're good books. They're good books. They're not necessarily ones I'm going to keep, but they are a solid good book. Like I said in my last video, I think my 5 stars are now, it's a darn sight harder for me to get 5 stars. So if you're getting 4 stars, it's brilliant, it's good. If you're getting 4.5, I may keep some of the 4.5. 5 stars are the bee's knees, but I've only got 2 5 stars, so that is telling you I'm being really a lot fussier on 5 stars. This next one is Hidden Storyteller by Mandy Rowbotham. This is one of her latest books, but even though it doesn't say it's a sequel, it is a sequel to one of the books, and I can't remember for the life of me which one it is, But, yeah, it's the sequel to The Berlin Girl, so you need to read The Berlin Girl before you read The Hidden Storyteller. This is very, very hard hitting, and it happened in Habsburg in 1946, just after World War II, and it's dealing with the consequences of World War II. So I found it very important to read that this month, with the Remembrance Day this month. Very hard hitting, very good writing. Really did enjoy it, but I don't think my mum could even handle that. So it is a great book, and it's historical fiction. It's brilliant. It's just very hard hitting. Next to my thriller of the month, it's more like a YA thriller. It's not like gruesome and gory and scary. Excuse me, but it is bit mystery, kind of gets you on the edge of your seat. It's Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. And it is more of a mystery, but it's definitely YA. It's probably a bit too YA for me. I think, in all honesty, I realise Colleen Hoover is very, very YA. And I don't necessarily think that I'm going to go for her books as much as I would have done. Because I'm not really... I like YA fantasy, but I don't like YA contemporary or YA mystery as much. Although I like the Good Girls, Bad Blood series. I'm a contradiction in terms, aren't I? Never stop, never forget, just remember. It's about two characters, Charlie and Silas, who have been best friends since they could walk. And then one day they wake up and they don't know, they're literally having this random time where they suddenly open their eyes, they sort of notice something, and all their memories are gone. And this keeps happening every 48 hours. And it's they've got to try and uncover the truth about what happened to each other. Very mysterious, but it is quite good. It's good fun, nice light, fun, 4 stars. My next one was my TBR jar pick, and that was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Again, good, solid, fun, contemporary. I didn't love Beach Read by Emily Henry. I love You, Me and Up Vacations. She is a good, solid romance writer. Like I said, I didn't like Beach Read, but this was good. Very much for a summer read, but it was good. And it's about Nora and Charlie, who are both writers. No, Nora is a cutthroat literary agent, and Charlie is an editor. And they're like work nemesis, and they've basically been through like crap together, and they go to Sunshine Falls because Nora's sister persuades her to go there. And it's a really good, fun contemporary. There is some like underlying like stuff in there, emotional stuff, but it is still a good, fun, sexy romance. There is a bit of sauciness in it, but it's done good. It's good fun. I do think Emily Henry's a good... I'm not going to necessarily keep her books. I'm not going to buy them in hardback because I won't necessarily reread them. But they're good, fun contemporaries, just good, fun romances. Then to this one, which is We Are All Made of Stars by Rowan Coleman. I'm not lending this to my mum either. My mum's not getting very many books this month from it, this half of the month. We Are All Made of Stars. It is set partly in a hospice and rehabilitation centre. So this nurse, Stella Carey, she exists in the world of night because she's married to an ex-soldier, and she works the night shift because he's locking himself away. And during her nursing shift, she writes letters for patients to their loved ones, and it's full of letters from patients to their loved ones to be handed over when they die. Full of letters like that, so it's very much full of emotions. It was really proper breaking me and very, very emotional. And it does talk about death, and it talks about lifelong illness, and it has got CF rep, so that is kind of disability rep. It's got CF rep in it. I'm not going to tell you how the ending of that goes, but it does talk about CF, so they're, like I said, disability rep for the month. And it does talk about disabilities as well. Yes, because it's also got an amputee. So this was my disability rep book, I didn't even realise. And it's very good. I would definitely recommend it. Rowan Coleman is a very good writer. Her contemporaries are good. But again, be warned, there is a lot of emotions and a lot of tears in it. So if you want disability rep, this is good. If you're prepared to be broken into a million pieces, this is good. But it will shatter you. Very good writing, but very, very emotional. Now to my next two that are library books. So they're going back to the library. So that's 6 books to take back to our books today, I think. Yeah, only 6. I don't think I'm going to take any others. Got one more, so I've got 7. But actually, I won't straight away. This is All My Love by Miranda Dickinson. This is a book that I've got from the library. So it's my borrow book. And it was on my Amazon wish list. Because I didn't necessarily think that... I couldn't find it in charity shops, Miranda, All My Love. And I thought, oh, I'll just try it from the library. It was way better than I expected. Very good. Not necessarily want to reread, so it's gone off my wish list. But it's a very good romance, and it's very like a secret crush, a perfect love letter. Will they get the chance? Very, 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 very girly, very, 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 very romancy. But sometimes love can be staring you in the face and you don't even know it. And it's about Archie and Esther, and they're like, one of them's a cleaner, and people judge her because she's having to go down to that. She's having to stay with her sister, who at first you think is the right beep beep beep. Things change. About falling in love with the wrong person. Really good, cozy romance. So I really, really enjoyed that. Then to another 4 stars. And this is my library book for the month, and this is Moonflight by Jill Lewis. And this was, I pretty much picked this up from the library because it was about rats. You guys know Charlie will kill me. My nickname for Charlie, Charlie Rats. Always has been, always will be. She is my ratty root. Actually, I've changed my emoji for the end of this video. I might change, no I won't. And this is about like a fantasy, and it's about the seventh born rat of the seventh born litter. It's always a rat in want of adventure. Tilbury is no exception, but he just doesn't know it yet. And Tilbury goes on this adventure. It's a fun adventure story about Tilbury going on some like this quest with the rats, and it's just a fun fantasy, and I really enjoyed it. It was sugar candy. It was just what I needed. I bloody love fantasy, and that was brilliant. Now to my 3 4.5 stars, and I'm actually keeping all of it. Actually, one of them I'll let Mum read first, then I'll keep it. Then we'll go from there. I don't think Mum's getting very many books. So the first one is one I will be lending to Mum, and that is When the War Came Home by Leslie Parr. It's set just after World War One, but it's a middle grade, I believe, historical fiction. And again, it was in honour of Remembrance Day. But the First World War has ended, but it hasn't gone away. When Natty wants to move to the village, she meets 2 young soldiers who are battling the effects of the war. Hugh can't forget the terrible things he's seen, but Johnny doesn't remember who he is. This is fan-flipping-tastic. Picked it up from the charity shop. It is well worth it. I would encourage middle grade people to read this as well as adults. I think it's the World War One, talks about World War One in a very, very real but very good way. So I loved it. Now to my pinky book of the month. That's 4.5 stars, and that is Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes. And this is a lot better again than I expected. So this is another one that I'm going to lend to Mum because it's not got naughty stuff in it. Meet Sam, meet Nisha, 2 women leading very different lives. When their paths cross, causing a whole world of trouble, and finding some missing shoes is the only way to solve it. And they're left with the choice that every woman has to face: to walk alone or stand together. Friendship, dynamics, poverty. It does have quite a bit about depression in it as well. Fantastic, fantastic book. Jojo Moyes did not disappoint with this one. I am very, very impressed by it. Really enjoyed it, and it will be one I will keep actually. So Mum's going to borrow it first. Then to one that's 4.5 stars, but I think my buddy read Cat, and I think Cat would have rated it lower. It only got 4.5 stars because there was bits in it that I really did love. Looking back, it could be 4 rather than 4.5 stars. But I love the seasonal feel of it. It's about like the season to fall in love. Obviously read it for the seasonal aspects. Did buy the next in the series, which I'm going to be dragging Cat to read with me. And we're going to end up reading Christmas book when it's not Christmas, because the 3rd is a Christmas book. I'm not reading these in order. I did not get onto this jam of this series quick enough. But it's about Logan and Jeannie. And Jeannie arrives in Dream Harbour. It's the first in the Dream Harbour series. You do need to read them in order, I think, because you meet the people in the next book. And you can see how that's setting up the next book as well. And Logan's a local farmer who avoids Dream Harbour's gossip, but Jeannie's arrival disrupts Logan's routine. There is a lot of saucy stuff in it, and I feel that the ending did get rushed a bit. But it is a really good book. Really, really enjoyed it, and I don't think, sometimes I'm in the mood for saucy stuff, and sometimes I'm not, and that was a little bit too much saucy. But it was good. Really did enjoy it. So that's my QP. And then my other QP is The Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. And again, I've got loads of these blooming post-it notes. And these are this is a witchy romance, witchy fantasy, 5 stars all the way. It was given to me by Kat, and it's about Essie Winterskill, who lives in a huge, like, ever-changing house in the village of Goodwinter, the deepest, darkest Essex. And then this American guy comes over, Josh, and it's a bit of a fun romance. But there's a bit of romance in it. It's a bit of historical fiction because it goes back to, like, because in that house there's witches and there's ghosts and people who haven't paid rent since the 1700s. Really, really fun book. Fantasy, witchy, just what I needed. Mum's not gonna like that. And then the last book that's 5 stars is Bridgerton on the Way to the Wedding. It's the last technically in the series because it's Gregory's story. But then we have the bit that's got all the short stories to connect it that I'm reading in December, sneaky peek. And this is Gregory's story, and obviously Gregory in the TV series is really young. So seeing him like in like his 20s feels a bit weird in this book, same way I found that with Tyson. But it's about his romance. It's really fun and fast paced. Bit of naughty stuff, but somehow I seem to like the naughty stuff in this book, but it was done really well, and it was really, really fun Bridgerton book. Love Bridgerton, always just what I need, and it was absolutely loved it. So those are the books that I've read. I do not want this video to be too long, so I'm now going to briefly show you the books that I'm adding to the TBR for the month. So I've got 6 that I'm giving away to the library, 2 that I'm borrowing to Mum, 2 that are going to the library, 2 that I'm lending to Mum, and 3 that are going back on the shelves. I will get this done before I get about books. So the books that I'm adding to the TBR for the month are The Flight of the Falcon by Daphne du Maurier. This was a book that I was supposed to be reading with Alice this year. It was one of our planned buddy reads, but obviously it never got to happen. I put it on my end of year books I wanted to read by the end of the year, and I'm going to read it. Chris picked it. It's only 300 pages, and he wanted me to read it. I think, yeah, I'm going to give it a go. It's sort of historically fiction-y, classic-y, about Omino Fabio, who leads a pleasant if not humdrum life until he becomes circumstantially involved in the murder of an old peasant woman in Rome. Don't want to know any more than that. I'm going to read it for Alice. Hope I love it. Then a book that, again, wartime book. This is The Wedding for the Bomber Girls. I listened to the Bomber Girls, the original first one, on audiobook with the library. So if I like the series, and I've now ended up and I bought the 3rd book, not realising I had to have the 2nd book, but I had bought this a while ago, so I may read the 3rd one like January time, because I'm letting myself read Christmas books in January. But this is the 2nd in the series, so I won't tell you too much more. But it's about Pearl and Thea, who are sisters, and they are from RAF Denford. This is a great, the Bomber Girls series is one of Vicky Beebe's newest series, I think. And yeah, I don't want to know too much more. It's about a wedding. I can't really go into detail, but it's one that I really want to read. Then to a book that keeps going on my TBR, and it's again set in World War One. Set just after World War One, so I wanted to read it for this, but it is very long. It's nearly 500 pages. What is it, me and long books this bloody month? I think Cat's probably cracking up. So this is set in 1918. The soldier is arrested at the Durham Cathedral in the last week of the First World War, but he has no memory of who he is or how he came to be there. He's given the name Adam and transferred to a rehabilitation institution in the Lake District, where Dr. James Howarth is determined to uncover his identity. But unwilling to relive the trauma of the war, Adam has locked his memory away for good. This was on my TBR last year. If it doesn't get read this year, then I will be DNFing it. Then to my first of 3 Christmas books. Actually, I'll show you the 3 Christmas books after. I've got one more book that's not Christmas. And again, this is in honour of World War One, the World Wars. And this is Private Peaceful by Michael Morpurgo. It's got the poppies on it. So again, it's a World War book. It's a bit of a classic. Michael Morpurgo, I don't know how to say it. And this is as young as Thomas Peaceful looks back. Young Thomas Peaceful looks back over his childhood from the battlefields of World War One. His memories are full of his family life deep in the countryside. But the clock is ticking, and every moment Tomo spends remembering things he used to be means another moment closer to something that will change his life forever. This is a short book. It's only just over 200 pages, so it's nice to have. I've got a couple of shorter ones in here, but it is World War. Did want to read it for that. Then I've got 3 Christmas books because I had to decide to add Christmas books to this list. We're getting closer. At the end of November, I'm starting the Christmas jumpers. Kiss Me Under the Mistletoe by Fiona Harper. This is one that I saw on some people's channels about last year or the year before. I've had it on the shelf since last year, and don't know why I didn't read it last year, but I've kept it for this year. It's a cosy contemporary about this Christmas. Ex-wag Louise Thornton is starting her new life away from the paparazzi and her cheating husband, unmanicured, back on the carbs, and holding herself together for the courtesy of some seriously good foundation. Louise will make things perfect for her son right up until she leaves for his dad's on the big day. And then she's free to curl up and cancel Christmas. But it turns out escaping the fame and goldfish bowl comes with some perks. Can't wait to read this. Fun, cosy bromance. Then another one, I'm hoping this is a standalone because I've got it. Christmas at the Cornish Cafe. I've got a bad feeling it's not a standalone, but I'm hoping I can read it. Can Demi's Christmas wish come true? A Christmas at Cornwall is what dreams are made of, and with only days till the opening of her cafe, working alongside her gorgeous husband Cal, looks like Demi's perfect Christmas is around the corner. Nope, it isn't. It's like third in the series, I think. But I'm adding it. I'm seeing what it's like. I haven't found the rest in the series, so I'm not going to beat myself up. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. About romance. Again, it's only about 300 pages, so it isn't long. I hope I can read it as a standalone because I've not read the first two. If you do know, please let me know. Can I read it as a standalone? Or am I going to be really missing loads? And then the next one is, it's a reread, but it's not a reread. Because it's a reread because I've read it before, but I gave away my copy after I read it, which was stupid. And this is The Merry Christmas Project by Cathy Brownlee. Her third book in the series has come out recently, and I bought it. So I've decided that I'm going to reread the whole series. So I'm going to reread this one at the end of November, the first one. I'm going to read the second one at the start of December, at some point in December. And then I'm going to read the third new one in January. Again, Christmas is being extended from November to January. I've decided. I'm breaking rules. I'm making my own rules. And this is literally the first in the series. So it's where we meet, I think we meet Mary. Yes, because in the second book we meet another character called Emily. In the first book it's mainly about Emily, Mary and Cole. And it's a cosy romance, and anything can happen at Christmas. Christmas has always meant something special to Mary, even without a family of her own. This year her heart might be broken, but a new candle business is booming. The last thing she needs is another project. But when her hometown's annual event needs some festive inspiration, Mary can't resist. Really, really looking forward to this. I can't wait to reread this book. And technically, because it's a second-hand copy, it's not a reread. It's not my numbers. The second one is a reread. Anyway, those are the books I'm reading. What do you think of the books I've added onto the series, added onto the TBR? Which ones do you think I should prioritise? Because I've kind of still got to prioritise the books that are on my TBR. They're not going to necessarily get read straight away, so you do have time to let me know which ones of those you think I should prioritise. What do you think of the books I've read? Now, if you've got to the end of the video, in honour of the wars, leave an aeroplane emoji, because obviously aeroplanes flying as thingies, and it is still obviously close to my heart with my dad's stuff. So if you got to the end of this video, leave an aeroplane emoji. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.